Hello guys, good day and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I uploaded some videos, but however now I am back on board a ship and working as usual, working hard, but sometimes hardly working. So after a long vacation and even considering leaving this career, I've decided to join back the ship, and now I'm on board another vessel, sailing across the seas like the good old days. So what I want to talk to you about in this video is a very interesting and peculiar skill that I believe every seafarer should learn to develop. It doesn't matter the rank, whether you are a master or an officer, engineer, or even a support level crew or catering department. Everybody who is on board a ship should know and should develop this skill to the best of their abilities. You see, being on the ship is not necessarily an easy task because it demands the best of our abilities. We are battling against the weather and recent times where conflict has been on the rise. On top of that, homesickness and other sorts of personal problems that everybody may be facing. Combine that with operational issues, safety issues, and certain ships where the welfare of the crew is not where it should be. This can all add up. Therefore, in my opinion, especially what I've learned in the recent days, that the most important, or arguably one of the most important skills that a seafarer should develop is leadership. And I know maybe you might be arguing that, of course, the captain, chief engineer, they have to have leadership to get a hold of their crew. But, however, everyone on board a ship can benefit from good leadership skills. Because true leadership doesn't just mean barking out orders and making sure the job is done, but however, it is making your team believe that you have their back. And let me give you an example of this. Now, let's say that the messman has been noticing that some crew have not been segregating the garbage in the garbage bins in the galley, for example. This is clearly a violation of MARPOL Annex 5. And he decides to take the liberty onto himself to somehow enforce the crew to segregate the garbage, or at least bring it up during the safety meeting or something like that. He did something, he took some action. And this is obviously a good sign of leadership, because as we know, garbage segregation falls under the chief officer's responsibility. This in return will build trust among the chief mate and the messman, because the chief mate might feel that the messman has his back to avoid being caught by the authorities for improper garbage segregation, for example. Now, this is one of the many examples that I can think of that happen on board the ship whereby leadership skills are being shown. And most of the time, people might get intimidated because leadership is being shown by the lower level crew compared to the higher level. And this is where I feel that we could improve in our leadership skills as per the book 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, whereby in the book where he clearly states the highest level of leadership is where the leader creates other leaders and isn't afraid of being overtaken. And the lowest level of leadership is where somebody forces their authority by saying something like, "I'm the boss and you should listen to me," which clearly they might get the job done, but however, at the end of the day, they do not have your back and they do not build the trust that is needed, especially on board a ship. Because what I've noticed from recent times is you may be the most knowledgeable captain or chief engineer or officer or whoever, but if your leadership skills are below par, then that would ultimately cause chaos. So that's all I have to share. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.